Hello HEMA friends, and welcome to this new episode of our Longsword Guards series. Today we are going to give a look to Posta Breve. Posta Breve is our neutral guard position, and this is for a simple motivation. It is centered in the center of every other guard. It is possible to reach equally all the other guards, such as Posta Longa, Posta di Donna or Porta di Ferro, or whatever other guard. Certain guards require more motion, while others are easier to reach. But in any way, Posta Breve sits at the center of all the other guards. Precisely because it is centered, Posta Breve is extremely important, but at the same time doesn't have many options in terms of attack and defense. Actually, Posta Breve has just a few options, and the motions out of it are quite strict while talking about attacking motions and defensive motions directly from this kind of guard. In fact, Fiore classifies this posta as stable. So in the interpretation of most people nowadays, a stable posta is a posta that you can keep for quite a lot of time. But at the same time, in the glossa itself, Fiore says that this posta doesn't have a lot of stability. This concept can be translated in a relatively easy way. So it is a posta that we can, for sure, keep for quite a lot of time, but we can strictly remain in the precise same spot with our blade if we want to create any kind of action, be it defensive or offensive. In fact, Fiore keeps going and says that this posta moves around quite a lot, trying to fool the opponent and see if it can enter with a thrust. While talking about the fact that these posta do not have a lot of stability, Fiore means that to create any kind of situation, the greatest majority of the situations in which this posta is able to land its attack, it needs to move out from the posta a little, be it to feint, to provoke the opponent, or any other action. In fact, precisely because it is at the center of all the other guards, this posta can create offensive and defensive situations by purpose, by moving slightly into other posta, inviting the opponent to attack, or to threaten the opponent and scout the opponent, reaching Posta Longa and feinting attacks to understand in which kind of way we should act with our offensive action. Fiore also tells us that this posta ideally requires a longer longsword. Now, if you have seen the previous episode of this series about Porta di Ferro Mezzana, you have probably already noticed that this is the same advice that we find in that posta. And this is because of a simple motivation. Centered poste, which are Porta di Ferro Mezzana, Breve and Longa, generally speaking work at best with a longer longsword. Now, while talking about Longa, of course, this is not necessarily true for it, because Longa is a position that we reach while fighting with any kind of sword, and it is good with any kind of sword because of this motivation. But it is specifically true for Porta di Ferro Mezzana and Breve, which work mainly with the thrust as the main attacking option, which is the best option while using a longer sword. It is the best option because of the leverage also, so moving the sword from one side to the other while having a long weapon in a big arch motion is slightly harder compared to move it in a tight way in front of us to land thrusts and similar actions. While talking about the attacks of Posta Breve, we of course have the thrust. The thrust is the main and actually only direct action out from Posta Breve. We can land all the 4 thrusts that Fiore talks about. So we have all the 4 thrusts with opposition above and below, and we have our centered thrusts, as always. These thrusts can be used offensively, so to attack the opponent directly when the opponent sits in a precise posta using ideally the correct opposition in relation to any posta, or to counter on tempo an opponent which is so mad, let's say, to attack into our Posta Breve. Now, attacking Posta Breve is of course possible, but it requires precision and an action which counters the possibility of the opponent to answer on tempo. Otherwise, being centered and in front of us with the tip on line, for Posta Breve it is easy to answer on tempo with a thrust with opposition. Very good. Let's now give a look to the glossa and of course I will translate it for you. Questa sia Posta Breve, che vuole longa spada. So this is Posta Breve, which requires, which wants a long sword, so a longer longsword, let's say. Ed è maliciosa guardia, che non ha stabilità. So it is a malicious guard which do not has a lot of stability, as we just talked about. Anche sempre si muove e vede se può entrare con punta e con passo, intra lo compagno. So, and it also tends to move around a lot to see if she is able to enter with a thrust and a step against the opponent. So it is talking about feinting, scouting to land a thrust with a step, of course, because we are attacking. È più appropriata tal guardia in arme che senza arme. So here Fiore says that this guard, it is better suited to fight in armor compared to fighting without armor. Now here Fiore says something which is really important actually, because this guard is one of those guards which we have seen that can land directly a thrust in a direct and simple motion, such as Porta di Ferro Mezzana, which we see represented in the sword armored section of our manual. So Porta di Ferro Mezzana and Posta Breve are two guards which keep the sword regularly, so not half swording, which are useful while fighting in armor. Of course, this doesn't mean that this posta is not useful while fighting without armor. It means simply that this posta is extremely useful while fighting in armor, and it is as useful as all the other guards while fighting without armor. Very good, people. I hope you will find this video useful and you will find it interesting. The next time we will give a look to Dente del Sanghiaro. So, thanks for watching. Remember to check my Patreon page, link in the description, if you want to support me and the channel while watching more of my contents in the meantime. Thanks for watching again, and see you next time.